Hello, in this video I want to look at the new features that have been added into the 0.30 release of the Chocolatey GUI license extension. So let's go ahead and jump in. So up on docs.chocolate.org you can find the release notes for all of the Chocolate products, including the license extension for Chocolatey GUI. So there is a warning on this release, and that is to do with the dependencies dependent packages that Chocolatey GUI license extension has. So those have been changed to reflect that we now need as a minimum 0.11.1 of Chocolatey and 0.19.0 of Chocolatey GUI itself. That's mainly to do with the fact that we've kind of uplifted all of the Chocolate products to a new baseline, which is to use the latest version of Log4net. So that's really what we're calling out here, is that the Chocolatey GUI license extension will now make use of the latest version of Log4net that no longer has the CVE that was identified. So that's why there's a dependency chain change in place. In terms of new functionality that's been added, there's two new features, and these are changes in how Chocolatey GUI operates. So the first one here is to add a feature to allow disabling of this PC source. Let's go and take a look at what that means. So I've opened up Chocolatey GUI here, and I've got the license version installed, because I can see that I've now got the business license down here. And we'll see that by default, what Chocolatey GUI shows is this PC source. So that's really what packages do I have installed locally on my machine. And then Chocolatey as a remote source, what packages can I install from community.chocolatey.org, or what packages can I install from the Chocolatey license feed. Now, we heard from at least one of our customers that it would be good to be able to hide this PC option, showing only the remote sources that you have available. They felt that there's a little bit of a training overhead in terms of explaining why there's a distinction between this PC and local sources, remote sources. So what you can do is you can go into settings and you can scroll at the bottom here, and there is now an option, hide this PC source. So if I enable that and I go back, nothing will have changed, because unfortunately the way that the Chocolatey GUI license extension works, that change does require a restart of Chocolatey GUI. So I enabled that feature. I'm going to restart Chocolatey GUI. And what we'll see now is that this PC source is no longer shown, and instead what we see is the Chocolatey community repository listing its packages by default. Now this feature kind of works very similar to how the hide all remote Chocolatey sources work, and it's the exact opposite. So if I enable that feature and I close Chocolatey GUI again, and I run Chocolatey GUI one more time, so this time the remote sources are no longer going to be shown, and instead you get essentially kind of almost a read-only view of what packages are currently installed on this machine, because that was another request from a customer. Now, because those two are the complete opposite of each other, if you attempt to have both of those features enabled at the same time, you can't have both, because at that point there would be literally nothing to show. So this PC source wins. So if you have both of those features enabled, you'll only see this PC tab, but you can have one or the other. So the hiding of this PC tab is what shipped in 0.30 of Chocolatey GUI license extension. The other one that we got added is a feature to enable the disabling of the update all button. So what this is referring to is, I've currently got on my machine, I've got the VLC package as being out of date. So one of the buttons I can click up here is the update all button, and it would, if I had 4 or 5 or 6 different packages all marked as outdated, clicking that one button would update all of the package in one operation, in the same way that you can do Choco upgrade all from the command line. Now, we heard from some customers that they want their users to take much more ownership over updating specific packages only at one time. So they would want them to be able to right click and say update on this one package rather than upgrading them all. So that's exactly what this setting does. So if I go back down here to the bottom and enable the prevent usage of the update all button, I can enable that. Now once again, I do need to close and reopen that. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to go back to Chocolatey GUI. And at this point, that upgrade all button or update all button is now, it's not there because of that setting. So that just gives a little bit more control over the user interface that is Chocolatey GUI. So that's all I've got. That's what we shipped in this release of the Chocolatey GUI license extension. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out. But for now, thank you very much.